Hi and welcome back. It's time for a new art journal and I have been working on this square journal for quite some time, so it's time to spill the beans. This is from my signature line, Create Happiness. I'm absolutely in love with it. I have been using it for quite some time now. So it features an elastic to keep everything together, hardcover, white, so that you can easily customize it and make it your own. It has a bookmark ribbon and the pages are watercolor pages, nice and thick, and you have been watching me using that and trying everything on top of it for quite some time now. I also made sure that when you open it, it lays completely flat, making it really easy and comfortable to work on. You can definitely work front and back on the pages. I just do that so that it isn't distracting for you when I work on one page. There are 18 pages, 36 front and back. So that was the 6x6 watercolor journal, and I do have a couple more options for you. Again, same quality but different size. So I call this my pocket size one, and it's 6 by 3.5. And then I have this long slim one, which is 4 by 8.5. Again, same exact quality, just different options to give you a bigger variety. So on this one, you can work on both pages, you can just work on one, and it's going to look like a traveler's notebook. You can even rotate it, it doesn't really matter. Again, the ribbon bookmark, the elastic, everything is there. And then of course, since I have 3 new journals which are with watercolor paper, let's take a look at the pocket watercolor set. It's a wooden case with a magnetic lid that you can open, and then it even has magnets on the side, so you see they attach together. A little clip is included, so you can easily keep those together, or you can even attach it on your journal if you are working on the go, just like so. I find it super adorable and I absolutely love the wooden case. Now you will find that it comes with 15 colors and there are refills that you can buy separately. But if you do have your own, you can definitely fit them inside. So what you can do is you can just take them out. I just like to stab them with my craft knife and easily come out like so. This is the standard mini pan size of watercolors, and keep in mind these are not stuck inside, so that you can easily refill them or even replace them and customize your palette, having the colors in any order that you like. So if you flip them, they are going to fall eventually. If you want to make sure that they are going to stay put inside, you can always add a dot glue at the back. I like to customize it, being able to take them out easily for adding the refills inside, so I'm going to keep them as they are. Now I like to spray with water to activate them so that I have my palette ready to go. And you will find that the lid provides a mixing palette, so you can easily mix your colors here. The colors are highly saturated and they are very easy to blend on the watercolor journal. And today on my art journal I will be using those just so that you can see how it works. And I wanted this to be released just before Christmas because I find that it makes a great stocking stuffer, even for kids who are into arts and crafts. So here is a quick look on the colors that are included. 15 colors, one of them is white. And then you will find that the white is nicely saturated. You can do splatters and they stay on top of the other colors, as you can see here. So let's go ahead and use the new supplies to create an art journal page. I'm working on the 6x6 journal again. And I'm starting with a stencil. This is a stencil which is full of text. I will be using my embossing ink and I will go over it. You see I have a dedicated brush for the embossing ink. I use it only for that and not for any other ink pad. I even marked my cup and I make sure that it's always nice and clean and I don't contaminate my ink pads. So now I am debating whether I want to use the clear or the white one. It doesn't really matter on this case since I'm working on a white paper. I decided to go with a fine white one. I'm going to apply it over the text that I have inked, and then I'm going to grab my heat gun and make sure that everything is set. Now on this little journal I have been working with specific steps again and again. For this page I'm switching things up a little bit, so I'm going to create my background first by using blue combination of the watercolors here. So just I'm going to mix some of those in the mixing palette, and I'm going to spray water on top of my page. This is going to make the color more easier to spread, as you can see. At the same time, it's not as saturated just because it gets diluted with the water that is already on my page. Just a simple way to create a background in seconds. Now, one thing that you can easily do if you want is to spray water afterwards, which is going to make the color runny. And I love how it goes in between those letters. You can leave it to dry on its own or just use your heat gun. I'm too patient to wait for paints to dry. So anyway, I am going to add some splatters. And to tell you the truth, I find it super easy to use this little watercolor set to add my splatters, and I made sure that I get black and white in the colors as well, so I will be using it again and again just for that. Now, in this square journal, I have been playing with rice paper for all the pages, and this page is not going to be an exception. So I have here the rice papers from the new collection, Art of Traveling, and they are just gorgeous. Look, the first one was just stunning, an art journal on its own. But in any case, for this, I want to just tear off some bits and pieces and stick them down. So you can either use your scissors like I started doing here, but I ended up not liking the cut out straight lines, so I will end up just tearing off little bits and pieces. And I'm going to stick them down with my rice paper glue. You see, I'm super frugal with my rice paper glue. I use it all the way to the bottom. I am going to end up this jar today. So you will see that as I stick down the rice paper with that glue, the color underneath the watercolor, it doesn't move at all. Which means that you can use the rice paper glue as a sealer if you want to seal down your watercolor background, making sure that no matter what technique you are going to use on top of it, just use your rice paper glue and cover it up. Now, the truth is that my brush is completely dry. I didn't dip it in water, only on the rice paper glue. This makes sure that I don't transfer extra water to move that watercolor that is already there. So all I'm doing is just sticking down the rice paper completely randomly here and there, all those little pieces. And then let's move on to the next step. And it's time to do some stamping. Now I'm using a stamp set again from the Art of Traveling new collection by Stamperia, and I'm going to stamp with permanent ink, black ink at the background. So I'm going to use some bits and pieces from this stamp set, and again randomly in different parts of my background I'm going to go ahead and stamp. I like that it includes some circles and also lots of words, so I'm going to mix and match them. Now, of course, before I did this step, the step of stamping, I made sure that everything was completely dry. So remember, I did use my rice paper glue previously. Now it's completely dry. I did use my heat gun for that. Now, when I mix my stamps for the background, I like to stay kind of in a cluster way, so I stamp close to where I stamped previously. And again, I'm just showing you what works for me and what I find pleasing to the eye, but you are free to do whatever you like. I always say there is no art journal police, just stamp all over the place if that makes you happy. Now, since I did stamp with black, I thought that it would be fun and it would match my project to add some black splatters. And because I cannot stay away from my volume paste, I am going to add some texture with that as well. So I have a new stencil and I'm just going to apply it here and there, just randomly picking some of those designs. I absolutely love this one, and I love the fact that it gives you a postal stamp border. So, by the way, for this design, I knew from the beginning what I wanted to use as my focal point. So, in that new collection, there is a row of houses which I'm planning to stick at the bottom. That's why you see that I don't do anything at the bottom. I don't really care to do that, anything there. It's going to be covered after all. So this is the new collection by Sara Alcobendas. It's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love the colors, the designs. I can find so many elements to cut out and use on my journals. So for this journal today, I'm going to use this pattern paper and I'm just going to cut out a row of houses. So I will just separate it from the main pattern paper and then just decide which houses I want to use. And again, back to that empty jar of rice paper glue, I'm going to use that to stick down the row of houses. I'm also going to use that glue to seal them down, so I will apply that on top of the houses just because I want to use my big brush markers to enhance some of the shadows and to make them pop even more. But before I go ahead and do the finishing touches, I am going to stick my words. So I decided to go with these sticker words. These are from a Tim Holtz booklet. I think this is super old, probably 10 years ago. I have no idea how many years I have it, but it's one of those sticker books that keep on giving. No matter how much I use it, I keep having more. However, the glue isn't that strong anymore. So although I'm placing them down here, you will see that I will end up using some glue at the back just to make sure that they are going to stay put. I'm using my white gel pen to outline those words. And it's time to enhance the shadows. I will be using my big brush markers by Faber-Castell. These are the Pitt markers, P-I-T-T. You will find them linked below. I keep on using them, but I always get questions about them. So what I'm doing here is working with those brushes to add shadows, and this technique works just because underneath is a non-porous surface. So remember, I did use my rice paper glue to seal those houses. The minute I touch that marker on top of my page, it doesn't dry, although it is a permanent marker, which gives me some seconds to smudge that ink, and I end up having those soft shadows. This technique works only with these markers, not with watercolor markers. You will find that they smudge too much and you don't get the perfect results. Also, it doesn't work with alcohol markers because alcohol markers dry completely permanent the minute you touch the page, even if the surface is a non-porous one. So these markers are actually Indian ink markers, if you are wondering. Here I'm using the last marker, a grey one, just to enhance some shadows, and I'm done with this technique. I will grab my fine black marker and do some sketchy lines. I don't want to have a very thin tip, however I don't go with a brush nib. I am doing sketchy lines around the houses. You will see that it helps them pop against each other. And again, I don't outline everything, just some sketchy lines here and there. Completely randomly, really. And then I grabbed my white gel pen and I'm adding some white lines again here and there. I'm not paying attention on where the light falls. You can definitely do that. I just draw some sketchy lines because I find that it adds a whimsical touch on my pages. And you all know what the last step is. I'm just going to add some white splatters. This time I will be using my watercolors. You will see that they are going to stay nice and bright on top of everything. So that was the art journal for today. You can see here some close-up photos where you can probably see the details better. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired. Don't forget to leave me a comment and like the video. And just like always, down below in the description you will find a full list of all the supplies that I used. Thank you all for watching.